Hey guys, Coach Daniel Hammer at Tennis, and in today's video we're going to talk about how best to practice your serve. And so I see a lot of players that come out and they have a hopper of balls and they're sitting there and they're practicing serves and they're hitting their serve to the whole box. And so they're aiming at the whole box. And so they just kind of hit the ball and it just goes wherever it's going to go in the box. And they think, well, I hit the ball in, and so that's okay. But the problem is that's not really good enough. And you really need to focus your serve to smaller areas on the court. And then I see some players, they use pyramids or cones when they're serving. And so you see those little sport cones, a lot of them, they set them up. And the problem with those is that the cone is so tall that they tend to set it all the way back towards the line, so as the serve is coming in, it'll hit the top of the cone, and the serve is actually going to be way out, but then they think they're hitting good serves. And the other problem with a cone is that when you're playing a match, there's no cones on the court. And so if you get used to practicing hitting at a space, you're going to be better able to visualize, because the space will be there when you play a match. Now, your markings distinguishing that space may not be, but it's easier to visualize spaces onto the court, and that way you can aim at that space. And so we want to aim into where we're visualizing, and then that's going to help us hit a better serve. All right, and so instead of using cones, what we're going to use are these sport discs. A lot of times you see these in like the soccer area at a store. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get some of these if you don't have them. I like these because they're not very tall. You still see them visually, you can see them very well, but they're not so tall, so that way a ball that hits the top of it is not going to be out. So, and what I'm going to do to set up the court here is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by marking off half of the service box. And so I'm going to mark off a line across half the service box here, because you want to really practice hitting your serve deeper than at least halfway into the service box. So if the serve is dropping in front of this line, it's just way too short, and so that's not going to help you win any points. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the service box into roughly thirds. And so we're going to divide the box into thirds. And now by dividing the box into spaces, that's going to give me an area in which to aim into. All right, so now that I've laid out the disc into our spaces here and created a forehand, a body, and then a backhand serve box, I've basically reduced the overall size of the service box into a sixth of the size that it was before. So instead of thinking I have this whole service box to practice my serve into, now I'm going to really focus my serve into a sixth portion of the box. And so if I don't hit it into this portion of the box, that's an error. And so I'm going to go back, and one of the ways that I like to practice this is to do sets of 10 serves. And so count how many out of 10 you hit into that same box. So hit 10 to this box, then hit 10 to this box, and then 10 to the backhand box, and see how many out of 10 you can make, and then redo it. Or you can just practice doing sets of 10 to the same box over and over again. But try to work on becoming more consistent hitting the ball into this much smaller portion of the court. And by doing that, you're going to stop seeing the whole court as in, and you're going to start to see that small section as where you want to hit your serve. And you know, maybe you hit a ball into the wrong box and that's in, and that's great, but for you, you're going to consider that an error, and you're going to start to really focus and really hone in your serve into a smaller area, so that way you're hitting more accurate serves and you're going to win more points on your serve. And that's going to help you hold serve and win more matches. So be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, guys.